Hello, my name is Tanya Phillips. I'm going to talk to you about the norovirus outbreak at Blue Lake Regional Park and the investigation steps. Norovirus belongs to the family of Kelvicivirdae. The virus is very small, only ranging from 27 to 35 nanometers in diameter. It is a non-enveloped, single-stranded RNA genus. There are 6 categories of norovirus. Genus 1, 2, and 4 are known to infect humans. It is highly infectious, only taking 18 viral particles to infect the host. When someone is infected with norovirus, the virus sheds at large amounts, known at 5 billion infectious doses are shed per each gram of feces. It's environmentally stable, and it's able to survive freezing temperatures, heating temperatures, and can survive common household cleaning disinfectants that are used to kill norovirus, in attempt to kill norovirus. It's able to survive on surfaces for up to 2 weeks. The virus spreads from person to person through oral transmission and hand-mouth transmission, through ingesting contaminated food or water, and that oral and hand transmission coming from infected feces, and also vomit. Immunity is short-lived, only lasting 6 months to 2 years. Looking at norovirus outbreaks across the United States, most impacted are long-term care facilities, next restaurant, events and parties, other settings, schools, and private residents. At the Blue Lake norovirus outbreak, during this weekend, there were over 15,000 people that visited the Blue Lake recreational, and this occurred from Friday, July 11th through Sunday, July 13th. There were identified 139 suspect contacts, but only 109 were interviewed. There were 70 total cases with 5 confirmed cases, and the lake was closed for 10 days. The investigation steps first start at receiving those initial reports. At that time, we would interview those individuals to identify the possible exposures within the 48 hours prior to the onset of symptoms. We will check for laboratory reports, and at that time, if there weren't any, we would request additional stool samples from those suspect cases. There were 13 that were reported to the health department at that time, suspect cases. So that's enough information to put together a communicable disease team to investigate the outbreak. This consists of CD nurses, epidemiologists, PIOs, which is public information officer, public health manager, clinic manager, health officers, state staff. We need to notify state staff and request urgent epidemiologic response team at this time. Also want to make sure that we request enough stool samples to test additional cases. There's enough information at this point to have a case definition, which is a suspect case is any vomiting or diarrhea with onset of 7 to 48 hours after visiting the park on those identified dates. This is a cohort study. There's also enough information to implement control measures at this point, which we would do so. So closing the park and requesting proper cleaning of the facility. Because this is a cohort study, we want to look for more cases as well and also identify how people are getting sick. So at this point, we would develop a shotgun interview to identify and interview those additional suspect cases. So we would perform that interview. Also, we would want to gather more stool samples from the suspect cases. Analyze the data will help us identify where folks are getting sick and how they are getting sick with norovirus. It's also important to continue to monitor for additional cases during this time. This right here is a graph from the outbreak that happened, and this shows the date and time of symptoms, so the onset of symptoms. This graph this table right here really shows the demographic characteristics of the cases and non-cases. From the cases, the median age was 10 years of age, and majority of those cases were also female. This table right here is the relative risk, shows the relative risk and rates of the illness from the norovirus outbreak. And the risk shows that those individuals who swam in the lake were 2 times more likely to develop norovirus. Thank you for your time.